Hey, good people. I managed to get away. I'm in the car. You guys know by now that's my hiding spot, right? Okay, so I'm in the car and I wanted to touch base based on. I made a video last night. I can't even remember what I made a video about last night, but I made a video last night, so go check it out. But I also shared another video on my Facebook, and it was an interview. This AC is blowing in my eyes, and I can't tolerate cold wind in my eye. I don't know who can, but it causes my eyes to water. So let's turn that down. All right, so I shared a video of an interview with Dr. Doug Graham and Rip Esselstyn. And if you don't know who those two are, Dr. Doug Graham is well known in the raw vegan community as being sort of the progenitor of the 80-10-10 concept, which is the concept that you should get 80% of your calories from carbs, 10% of your calories, daily intake calories from protein, and another 10% from fats, okay? 80-10-10. So basically what that translates into is a high fruit diet with some young, tender leafy greens, fruits and vegetables mainly, because vegetables are carb rich too, and small amounts of nuts and seeds, right, to get your concentrated fats in if you must. Okay, and Rip Esselstyn is also well known in the vegan community. His father is Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, and these are major figures in the vegan community, right? The regular vegan community, and they are proponents of whole foods, plant-based diets. Okay. Dr. Caldwell was involved in a meta-analytical study involving plant eating. It was a groundbreaking study that revealed basically you're looking at plant-based eating, whole foods plant-based eating, and how it relates to cardiovascular health or cardiovascular disease. Okay, so I just wanted to give you like a background of who these people are. You should look them up if you're interested in the work that they've done and what they promote. All right, so Rip Esselstyn is Dr. Caldwell's son, okay, and he's helped a lot of people reverse diseases with a whole food plant-based diet, a cooked whole food plant-based diet. And so he was doing an interview with Doug, and Doug, I told you, Doug is a proponent of raw foods. He's a raw foodist, not just raw food, but basically he's a fruitarian. If I'm trying to give him a term or a label, because people understand labels. So in his interview with Rip, he was sort of unrelenting, but in a very pleasant, scholarly, educated way. And because Rip is a cooked food eater, right? And Rip is sort of saying, hey, I'm trying to find a way to wrap my brain around what you're saying, because what you're saying is what I'm doing isn't good enough. I'm paraphrasing, okay? I'm paraphrasing. Please just go watch the interview if I'm butchering it. And Dr. Doug Graham was pretty much like, no, this is it. Like, this is really good stuff. If you're already whole foods plant-based, then just taking that tiny step is like leaps. It's a tiny step, but it's leaps and bounds. Anyhow, the reason I'm bringing that video up before I digress too much is I want to talk about a point that he made in the video in regards to protein. It's a point that I've been like on this point for quite some time, but I hammer the point because it's very important and people don't really understand how important it is, right? And this is protein eating, and this is cooked protein eating. Okay, because most people are cooking their food. Most people are hearing that protein is important. Anyhow, Dr. Doug Graham said something last night that I'm very well aware of, and I want to give you a bit of a perspective on what he's saying so that you can understand the seriousness of what he's saying. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what he said in the video about cooking proteins, and then I'm going to link it to something from my past, from my world. Just so you guys know, I used to be, in one of my lifetimes, this lifetime, I was a manager of a pathology lab. I managed a pathology lab for years, and I was also a histotech. I was on the bench. We work with a lot of chemicals, okay? And if you don't know what histology is, it's basically the examination of bodily tissues, all right? Whenever you go in for a biopsy, you do your colonoscopy, you do a colposcopy, we do molecular, that type of lab, okay? And we slice the tissue very thinly, and we stain it, and we look for disease, okay? Now I am not paraphrasing. I'm simplifying the process. It's a whole process, right, of getting the tissue ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what Dr. Doug Graham said about protein eating, and then I'm gonna explain it to you, what it means, okay, and I'm going to draw the reference from my past in histology. So Dr. Doug Graham said that the thing that blew his mind when he was doing his research, which we all know, when you cook proteins, you denature it, right? That's what we say, you denature the proteins. We know this in science. So whenever the pH is out of whack, or whenever the temperature is out of whack, the protein will misfold, okay? This is common knowledge. It's called denaturing of a protein. But what he tried to emphasize was, it's not just denaturing of the protein, right, where the protein is misfolding. What happens is the protein unfolds, but then it comes back together, and I don't have access to my other hand because I'm holding the phone. But what happens when we cook protein, okay, when you cook your meats and stuff like that, which everybody does, nobody's eating raw meat, even these carnivores on these carnivore diets, they're not eating raw meat, they're eating cooked meats, okay? I do see a very small subset that's doing raw meat, but in any event, when you cook your meat, what you're doing is you're not just denaturing the protein, you are creating cross linkage of the protein, meaning it's unfolded, but then it comes back together. And if I had my other hand, I would put it in like a perfect fit, like a puzzle, like my fingers would go through here, and you form this cross linkage in the protein. And the reason that's significant is because those cross linkage are enzyme resistant. Now, to me and other people that understand what that means, that's a big deal, okay? Don't just blow over that. An enzyme resistant protein means that you do not have enzymes that can break that protein down. That's a big deal. I mean, I don't even know how to stress to you that is a very big deal. You are creating cross-linked protein structures, enzyme resistant protein structures. You do not create enzymes to break these down. All right, let me draw, if you don't understand how serious that is, okay, let me draw a reference from my past in histology. Okay, everybody nowadays is up in roar over things such as preservatives such as formaldehyde, right? Let's use formaldehyde because that's the reference I'm going to draw. But do you understand why formaldehyde is a problem? Most people don't understand why formaldehyde is a problem. I'm going to tell you why formaldehyde is a problem. In the lab, in a coroner's office, we use formaldehyde as a preservative, okay? So we call it formalin in histology because it's not full-strength formaldehyde. We can't use full-strength formaldehyde. That's how strong that sucker is. We use 10%. So it's 90% water and 10% formaldehyde, and that's called formalin. And even that is strong enough to preserve tissue, okay? As soon as the clinician takes the tissue, we call it tissue, I don't want to call it body parts to you out, like EQ out, but as soon as they take that specimen, they have to put it in formalin, all right, to prevent the breakdown of the tissue. Do you know how formaldehyde works? Formaldehyde does the same thing to protein that cooking does to protein. It creates cross links in the protein, which is resistant to enzymes, which means it's resistant to breaking down. That's how formaldehyde works in tissue preservation. Cross linking of structures. When you cook your protein, that's what you're doing. You are creating cross linkage of structures that cannot be broken down. And everybody knows by now that formaldehyde is a carcinogenic substance. Formaldehyde is a carcinogenic substance. You won't dare eat formaldehyde. You don't want to touch it. If it's in your products, you get upset. But you cook your proteins and you create cross-linked proteins that cannot be broken down by enzymes, aka a carcinogenic substance. Do you now understand the big deal? Like, do you really get it? Do you really understand why I keep saying to you this protein myth, this cooked food myth, it is an illogical, asinine paradigm that we are under. It is really a spell. And people really don't understand what they're doing to themselves. They don't understand the chemistry that they are inflicting on themselves when they do these things, right? It just seems normal, but it is not normal. This is why we age. Aging isn't normal. Aging is not normal. We eat tons of even if you didn't cook your protein, let's put aside the fact that you're creating carcinogenic substances when you cook the protein. Even if you didn't cook the protein, if you're eating the amount of protein that you eat, which is outside of the parameters of 3 to 10% that your scientists that you love and glorify so much are telling you 3 to 10% is optimal. Anything outside of 10% or above, if you get double digits or above in terms of protein consumption, measuring via calorie consumption, you are inciting disease processes. You're stressing your liver and you're stressing your kidneys. And then what you do is you turn around and you cook that protein, causing even more problems because now you have created cross-linked structures that your body cannot break down. You do not have enzymes to do it. You don't have enzymes. But I take digestive enzymes. No, it's still not working. Okay? I don't know how to get this point across any clearer. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, but that's a big deal. Whenever you cook your foods, period, point blank, end of discussion, you create carcinogenic substances in the food. That is one of the biggest reasons why you age. This is one of the biggest reasons why we age in society. Because those substances wreak havoc on the cells. It incites an inflammatory response because your body can't break it down. So now your body sees it as an invader. I said to you some videos back, whenever you eat protein, your body sees that as an invasion. It cannot recognize the protein. It can't utilize it. It can't recognize it. So your immune system goes into hyperdrive, overdrive, trying to figure out what the hell to do with this chemical that's in the blood, because it's getting through your gut lining, because most of us have leaky gut from that inflammatory response. Okay, so it's getting through the gut lining, it's getting into the blood, and now your body is trying to figure out, Jesus Christ, sorry, what are we going to do about this? Let's figure out how to get this thing out of us. And then your liver and your kidney has to process that. And we do this every day, 3 times a day, 3 meals. We snack on it, get more protein, get the protein in, cook it, fry it, boil it, do all these things. My God, my goodness. All because we don't understand basics. This is all because we do not understand basics, and we do not take the time to understand basics. Because what I told you is something very basic, okay? I just told you how formaldehyde works. Everybody knows that you shouldn't touch formaldehyde by now. By now, most people know formaldehyde is an issue. They have no idea why. They just know it's a carcinogen. Why? What is it actually doing? It's creating those cross-linked structures. That's how it works. That's why formaldehyde is such an awesome preservative of tissue. Okay, if you don't put that tissue in the formalin before we get it, I'm calling you as a manager. I'm calling the clinician. I'm like, this was a very big deal in the lab. It is a very critical, crucial step in tissue preservation. Okay, it is that good at what it does. And every day you do the same thing when you cook your food, is you create those structures that your body, that you don't have enzymes to break down. I don't care if you're taking digestive enzymes, it ain't working on the cooked cross-linked proteins. Okay, this is why I laugh when I see the carnivores diet and the keto diet and all these other diets. No idea what you're doing to yourself and your body. None whatsoever. None. Zero. No idea what you're doing to your body and the havoc you're wreaking on your body. All right. The reason, I won't even go into that. I might get somebody pissed off if I go into all these keto, high fat, high protein diets. They perform a lot of trickery on you with these diets, right? Because they know they perform a lot of trickery. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to go into that. I don't have time. I'm already 16 minutes in, and I said I was going to be quick. But that's a big deal, folks. I want you to really, really get that. I want you to really, really understand that. And I want you to really understand the damage that you're doing to yourself every time you do this to your protein. And don't tell me about your mother and your grandmother and your grandfather and all these people. I don't want to hear it. It's time you stopped and get over it. Okay, 2 wrongs don't make a right. This is just common sense. And second, it should be common sense to you by now. I've said it enough times that even if your grandmother did it and your mother did it and whoever else did it, all they did was they passed the buck along to you. All right? Because they did not escape the damage. They just didn't manifest the damage, but what they did was they had kids and they effed up their DNA. Okay, they damaged and mutated, because that's what that structure does. That's what inciting inflammatory responses all day, every day is doing to your cells. This is why you age. This is why we age. Do you get it? Do you understand? It's the destruction of the DNA. It's the wearing down of the DNA. This is why we age. This is why our lifespans are being shortened and shortened and shortened, and diseases are creeping up in age. So instead of having a disease at 70, now we're getting diseases at 40, now we're getting diseases at 20, and now we're having children born with diseases. This is on an uptick. It's on an uptick. Stop blaming the depleted soils. You are conducting an experiment. You have to look at the parameters of your experiment and really look at what it's doing and the chemistry involved. All right, I need to go into the store because I said I was coming out to the store to get some stuff, but I really wanted to just make this video. I really hope that this helps someone. Go watch the video. I posted it on my Facebook. You know, I'll post a link to my Facebook down in the comments below and in the description below, so that way you can go to my Facebook. You can follow me there. I post things on my Facebook, and then I come on here and I talk about whatever it is I post on there. I'm old. I still like Facebook. You know, I'm from that generation that likes Facebook. My son is telling me I need to get into TikTok and I need to stop rambling and stop talking. So I am. But I don't know how to condense this type of information into 90-second sound bites. And that's why I don't really mess with Instagram like that. Because I see a lot of people, and that's another thing too. Okay, I'll take 1 more minute to rant again. I see a lot of people they're trying their best, but I see them implementing things all screwy and wackadoodle. Right? And they're getting a lot of information from these social platforms that's forcing content creators to put things into 90-second sound bites. How the hell could I have described cross-linked proteins to you and how formaldehyde works and carcinogens and enzyme-resistant proteins in 90 seconds? I don't know. Maybe I need to work on that skill. But I don't know how to do it. I'm wordy. I like to explain. I like to teach. So what I see happening a lot are people are implementing all these different techniques and things like that because they see somewhere, oh, fruit eating is great, or this helps to detox this helps to build blood in this way, and it's just a hodgepodge of fuckery in my opinion, and you guys are causing more damage to yourself by not taking the time to go and understand some basics in biology. Get some basics, get some fundamentals, god damn it. Get it in your system. Get it in here. Get it. I spent a lot of time and a lot of money doing this, and I regret spending all that money. But I don't, because I have basics, okay? And I don't know everything, but when I come across information, I could refer back to my basics and I could say, does it make sense based on the basics that I do know? Okay? And this is what you got to do. You have got to go out there and you've got to get some basic knowledge in your head about your biology. It's not fluff information. Biology is not some shit you're never going to use like calculus. No, you need to know biology. You need to know it. It's you. It's who you are. You're walking around in a biological suit, in a 3D biological suit, and you have no idea how it operates. You have no idea how it functions. You go on TikTok, you go on Instagram, you go on the shorts on YouTube. They tell you a bunch of nice sounding shit, and you think, oh, that's all I gotta do? Drink some lemon water in the morning? Oh, that's all I gotta do? Is just don't eat 14 hours a day? And it's like, no. Why? Do you know why you're doing it? Because if you understand why you're doing it, you understand how to do it. All these things are great. I drink lemon water in the morning. I don't eat for 14 hours a night. But there's got to be a system as to how you implement these things. And you've got to understand what's going on in your body, in particular to you and your damage. Because you did get DNA weakness from your parents. That is a real thing. I see this going on all over social media where, diseases don't run in genes, patterns do. That's fuckery. That's half-ass fuckery. It's true on one end, but it's not on the other end. You did get fucking DNA damage from your grandparents and your parents, who you said was eating all this shit and they was fine. Okay, but now you're not fine. Now your kids are not fine. Okay? So cut that nonsense out. Go understand some basics and then come back to me. I'm sorry. I love you guys. I really do. I didn't mean to yell at you. I'm sorry. All right, I gotta go. Love you guys. I hope this video helps somebody. Bye.